stream, Get Resource, where we chat everything about getting resource back to self, source, and others. Every Friday, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, we are here. We do our best to show up and be here with you. You can catch us on YouTube as well and our Facebook group, Get Resourced. What's alive in you, Summer?
I'm feeling a little giddy.
Nice.
I'm appreciative and grateful of the weather and just, yeah. Feeling uplifted. And I've got this kind of bubbly, excited energy in my body. That's what's alive in me right now. What is alive in you, Mr. Drew?
I don't know. It's just a feeling of discombobulated, actually. I think is the word. Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely dealing with some gut issues right now.
Oh.
And kind of feeling out of sorts. Yeah, out of sorts at the moment. It's like I can be easily distracted. Like there's a lack of focus I'm noticing. And then my judge is having a heyday over it. So that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Oh, that
it's
judge.
It's good to name it. Yeah.
So what are we talking about today?
Yeah, well, we had a chat prior to this, and what's alive in us is this idea of novelty. The quality of newness in relationships. Yeah, and so, yeah, what's alive in you in regards to novelty for you at the moment?
As you know, I'm kind of a spontaneous person. I need structure, but if there's too much structure, safety, security, I feel bored. And when it comes to relationship, if I think of couples, and the dating scene, the novelty, dating multiple people, maybe when you've been married for 10, 12, 15, 20 years, needing some freshness. I'm hearing feedback from my own voice. Do you hear that too?
Oh, I don't.
Okay, good.
Well, we can chalk up to the audience. If you're hearing feedback, send us a note there.
So I think it's a really interesting question to ask, because people get married for reasons, for the idea of commitment and lifetime companionship and security and safety. Yet at the same time, people have the needs for spontaneity, for fun, for novelty, for freshness, for adventure. And so how do we balance those things?
Yeah. And Annette, you're saying you're hearing feedback, like whose voice is reverberating? My voice or Summer's voice? We're gonna do a little troubleshooting here with your support. Figure this out. Yeah, let us know if you're hearing some echo or feedback from who? My voice or Summer's? Because yeah, it can be quite painful to
Can you still hear me?
listen when that happens.
Oh yeah, I still hear myself.
Annette says yes. Summer. Okay. Interesting.
Every week it's a new tech problem.
Yeah, which mic are you setting up there?
Well, I switched it from the USB to crisp and back, and it's the same problem either one.
Interesting. Oh, definitely some feedback with Summer. Yeah. How about just set up with your laptop microphone for now?
Okay.
Yeah.
See, there's no feedback on that. Oh, yes, there is. Doesn't matter what microphone I use.
Hmm.
That's never happened before.
Yeah. I guess all we can do is just laugh at it, eh? Yeah. And
Only
now
to
now
add to
you're
your
kind of lagging a bit.
discombobulation.
Yeah. Your video and audio is mismatched at the moment. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe we can end it and restart again, or you can switch it back. Because right now, I think you're just lagging.
I can
Okay,
talk and you can see.
okay, sure. Let's do it.
All right, we'll see. Um, so novelty. What are your thoughts on what I said, or do you remember what I said now that we're distracted?
Yeah, I mean, finding like the newness in relationship, maybe another partner, um, vacation, traveling. I hear you when things are comfortable and when things are set up as secure, it can be boring. It's definitely a battle for me because there's a part of me that's alive and well to build comfort, to build security, to build certainty, structure, because that gives me ease and gives me peace that I know what's happening, right? And then there's a craving for something new, spontaneity, freshness, and just even in like working from home, yeah, I have everything set up. It's good and all. It'll become stale at times. And when it becomes stale, it actually affects my creativity. It's as if like the energy's stuck, like cabin fever. And I find when I get outside, walk, move, go to a coffee shop and work at, my mind starts to expand again. Like as if like the energy's moving. I'm getting inspired, meeting different people, I'm talking. And there's a yearning for that, right? Though there's also this piece of like when I do that, there's also this need to stay home and be by myself and not have all or run into people. So it's like I swing back and forth depending on what I need in the moment. So it's not like one way or the other for me to say, man, I just want all structure. I want safety and I want things to be certain all the time, or I want things to be fresh and new all the time. I want both. And it just
Hmm.
really depends on where I'm at in the moment. Yeah. That's what's alive in me in regards to that. Hey,
Yeah.
Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Howdy. Let us know how the sound and video is going on here as well, because we want to be with you. Yeah. We want
I
to hear you.
appreciate Annette's comment. She said she didn't mind hearing me twice. That's really sweet.
That's nice.
Um,
Sometimes it needs
yeah,
to be
I like
repeated.
right. The
What's the
topic
topic?
is
The topic is novelty, freshness and newness in the context of relationships. And here's something we're going to tee up for you is like, yeah, what if you're in a relationship for like 10, 20, 30 years? You know, what seems to be the challenge, and I liken it to doing the same thing over and over again, the routines, the rituals, and it just becomes a well-grouped path that creates a rut. Yeah. Oh boy, that's a loaded subject. Okay. I'd love to hear from you, like anyone watching this, like, what do you do to bring newness and freshness into your relationship? And what's your relationship with novelty too? Is spontaneity a need of yours?
I'll talk and I might talk less because I think I'm echoing all the time, but yeah, like the need for security, safety, comfort over novelty. And I like how you said, you know what? Sometimes it's just a new place. It's kind of like when you were talking, I imagine like stagnant water,
Mm.
like the energy in our body just being stagnant. People talk about cabin fever. And we've been brought up in this culture where we're usually in a household with our family, which is often just two people these days. Easy to feel stagnant. And so I love what you talk about getting into new energies and new people and getting new ideas, new perspectives. And I really hear myself and it's annoying. So I'm going to pass it back to you.
Oh, you're hearing yourself the whole time, eh? Hmm.
Now I hear you.
Yeah, wacky. What's the Brianna says here? Creating, prioritizing space for honesty and vulnerability seems to invite novelty for me. I feel that. Yeah.
Yes,
Just even
people were
naming
always
it.
changing.
Yeah, people are always changing. And having check-ins is like healthy, right? To create opportunities to meet each other where we're at right now.
Chris talked about Esther Hicks.
Chris, like what Esther Hicks and a spirit called Abraham says, if we're both evolving, then the relationship is always changing. There is a foundation of connection that's possible with long term relationships that isn't possible with constantly new. I'm not sure what that means with the last part. There's a foundation of connection that is possible with long term relationship that isn't possible with constantly new. Can you clarify that last piece? I'm not exactly sure what that means.
I mean,
Oh,
if I
I'm
were to,
echoing now.
yes, you are. We're in an echo chamber, literally. If I were to guess what Chris was saying, that is, there's a lot of connection, there's a lot of trust, a lot of understanding with long-term relationships, or there can be. I think where the stagnancy comes in is sometimes what we think the other person is to us. When we're not really listening, when we're not really communicating, we can have a lot of assumptions about each other. And this is where the stagnancy comes in. Whereas, like saying, oh, the honesty, the vulnerability, if we can talk about and be present to what's alive in us at every given time, it's ever changing. And so, as we're authentic in the moment, there really can't be stagnancy. It's always new and novel. So, the idea then becomes how can we become trusting of our own waters, our own energy system, what's alive in us at any given time, and trust to be able to share that because then it's always new. It's always interesting as long as we don't fear what the truth is in ourselves or the other person. And Chris there, yes. Okay, big bold letters, yes, from Chris. Yeah. How are you doing there, Dre? I'm not echoing anymore for some reason.
Oh, great, because I
Oh,
unmuted
now I am.
myself. So yeah, because I unmuted myself. So there's
Oh,
something
so
with my microphone. I'm trying to figure out here. Yeah.
yeah, so if you mute, then I don't echo. Okay, yeah, that sounds way better when you do that. I don't hear myself.
Yeah.
That's super
So
interesting.
I'm unmuted now. How's it sound? I'm unmuted. Can you talk?
Sounds okay,
Okay.
except I echo. So you have to mute when I speak, I guess. This is new and novel for us. And I'm guessing annoying too. Okay, you want me to keep talking? Okay, so new and novel. I think some people look outside themselves for the new and novel. They travel, they go to these different things. Some people date different people. Um, some people in relationships do lifestyle type stuff, which is great because you're with different people. Um, but sometimes we can find the new and novel just by looking inside of ourselves. We have the most interesting background, past lives, energetic beings. Like, as we experience new things in our own psyche, the world is incredibly magical. And Chris was saying, oh, do you want to put that up, Jay? I was flipping through a book called The Ethical. Okay. Here we're going here. The Ethical Slut last night at Chapters. Interesting thoughts on polyamory. You were definitely addicted to the new and different. And there's a good point. This comes into addiction. Do we always want novel? Do we always need constant stimulation? What is that? Is there an addictive quality to that? That's a really good question. And I would have to say probably and likely for some people, definitely. Um, Addicted to new and different. Yeah. And I think sometimes too, especially in relationships, when there's new and different, sometimes drama comes along with that, right? You don't know what's happening. You're trying to figure out what someone's doing in relationship to how you are. There can be a lot of stress that comes along with that, I would say. And a lot of us sometimes are addicted to the cortisol or the stress or the rush that comes with some of those things. So, how can we have comfort, security, like you said, Chris? I think it was trust, right? And connection and novelty and mystery and fun at the same time. This is what I'm interested in. Mr.
Hell yeah.
Dre. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So how about now? I unmuted myself.
Yeah, you sound good. And I'm
Is it
not
better?
echoing. What'd you do? Yeah. What did you
Yeah,
do?
it's because I switched over to my headphones so that the speaker doesn't reverberate to my mic.
Okay. I'm glad you do the tech stuff and I'm glad it's fixed. Yay.
Yeah. So it's good right now. I'm unmuted.
Okay. After a year, we've finally figured out Restream. We've got the lighting and maybe the microphones too.
It was okay before. I don't know why it's different today, you know? Same settings and everything. So
But you didn't have your earphones on, right?
usually I don't have my headphones before, but now I have my headphones. Just so that
Oh,
the sound from my computer doesn't hit this microphone. So we don't need echo suppression. Yeah.
okay.
Is it good now,
Anyways,
everybody? On the con? Anyone echoing anymore? Let us know.
uh,
Yeah. Curious.
back
But yeah,
to
like
you said, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
yeah, I want newness. I want freshness. And I get that from vacationing or going to different coffee shops and traveling, right? Though to also watch my addiction towards it as well. Yeah. So it's like it pulls back for me like the path of the middle path. Like everything
Mhm.
just falls back into checking in with myself, what I need this moment, and then meeting it. And it's not like trying to swing to one side or the other unconsciously, and that's where I get out of balance. But what is it that I need at this moment? Like I could be okay working from home for a week or so, and then realize, wait a minute, I'm feeling stale right now, and let's go out, let's move the energy, right? Bringing some um, spontaneous activities like going to dancing on Friday night or Saturday night, or finding what events are going on in the city. And there's a piece of me that appreciates the spontaneity of like a Friday evening of like, hey, what's new out there? What's fresh? But at the same time, I love to plan things too and have structure around it. Like once a month, do something new and different, and just having some foresight around it and some intention around it is yeah, I do want freshness and spontaneity. It's a need of mine. Let's schedule it. But this at the same time, it does kind of remove that novelty because I know it's coming. But because the activity is new, it's awesome. Like I schedule sometimes of like, let's go to a coffee shop somewhere else across the city. Even though I know it's coming, I haven't been there. Right. So I know you don't like surprises because
Yeah.
I love the reactions when
True.
someone's surprised. Like, I planned a date and I don't tell you where I'm going or where we're going, what restaurant we're eating at. And I like to create surprises for people because I love the reaction when they find out, right? I get to witness it, the whole experience. Though I know from being with you, you rather know up front because it creates this anxiety in you, right? I mean, I'll let you speak to that.
Yeah, it's a weird thing about me, actually. It's true. I don't like surprises. I don't. It's either my controller or I don't know. I guess surprises on some level have a feeling of deception or something. And that's I think it's really fun when people plan for surprises for other people. But when it comes to me and my body, if I don't know what's happening, yeah, I nope, you're right. I don't like surprises. Mm-mm, nope. I don't like that kind of novelty. It's very true. Very true. Although, a surprise gift once in a while, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, because it's
That's
just
okay.
right here, right now, right? Instead of the
Yeah,
the anticipation and the suspense
I
that you got
guess
to deal
that's
with.
it. Yeah, that's it for me. Yep. Oh, Chris doesn't like hypervigilant. I'm not usually hypervigilant, but in this case, yeah, it's true. You don't like surprises either. Yeah, I guess there's different kinds of surprises too. Like I like the kind of surprises when you learn something new about somebody. And I like how you said, we go to different places outside of ourselves. I want to kind of turn the conversation towards that newness, that novelty, having, like Chris was saying, the security, the comfort, the connection that you have in longer term relationships, and also how you keep it new and novel. Like, how is it that you can be really authentic and present to what's going on with you and be able to share that with others in a way that creates this dynamic um, interplay of, I don't know, energetic forces, relational um, growth, I guess, evolving, allowing us ourselves to co-create in the moment as we're evolving. Because I think that's what we're not doing. That's why we do get stagnant. Because you're right, Chris was saying, as we evolve, we're always evolving, we're always changing. And Gary Merck, I'm going to quote him again because he made a brilliant acronym about love, LOVE, letting others voluntarily evolve. And sometimes we're kind of nitpicky at people, aren't we? Our judges come out, our controllers come out. Oh, he didn't take out the garbage. Sometimes we can feel really oppressed by others' judgments, which kind of stops the energy moving between two people or groups of people in relationships. Sometimes we're triggered. I know there's a few groups of people, some communities that have fractured that I'm aware of. There's this drama and these headlocks into a type of stagnancy and conflict that is, I think, that goes it actually goes against our human nature, I would say, to evolve, to move, to change, to have novelty. And so why do we get stuck here? Why is that?
Though, though the paradox is also our human nature to stay the same, to keep things comfortable, predictable. It's like that fearful part of myself that's operating from survival to create comfort and compartmentalize things, the fear of the unknown. And there's the true self that yearns to grow and expand, right? And so that's the human conflict within myself, that the economy that's going on within me, which I judge makes me complicated. It's simple, but not so simple. Like the advice is simple, though to apply it, to live it is not so simple because of what's going on underneath this and all that I carry with me along the way. And so I bring it back to the middle path. It requires me to be conscious of like a check-in. And that's why I like Brianna, like the comment of having weekly or you and I, we check in daily. We check
Yeah,
in daily. We meet each other where we're at. Because I can find that when I'm not doing that with you, then I could be stagnant. And or I have this perception and projection of this old version of you. Yeah. And now we're not sharing the same reality, even though I might think that we are, but we're operating from different pages.
yeah, I like how you said projection and perception of who you think I am. And yeah, we're changing that every single day. Different people every single day. Brianna asking new questions and hearing honest answers. Yeah. I read something yesterday about being gentle with myself during big internal challenge or change because my mind and body isn't familiar with it yet. Yeah. And even just speaking to that, like, I'm feeling discombobulated. There's a lot of change going on. It feels like the unknown. I'm a little bit fearful. Um, Dre and I do check in every day, and it's kind of nice, not even for him, but as he asks me the questions, like, what's alive in you? How are you feeling? What are you most grateful for today? I ask myself those questions and I get to know myself and kind of have a review of the day. So I'm slowing down my pace to recognize, well, A, what I've done, but B, how I feel about it so that I can be more deliberate about how I'm approaching things. And what does, Miss Rebecca, but we're also creatures of habit. I think as long as the foundations are stable, the new can be uplifting and joy. Yeah. Yeah. Right. There's some really good habits we can create. Like Andre and I, well, almost every day, and it really depends on me. Smoothies. We eat liver rescue type smoothies every day. And that to me
Yeah,
is
it depends on
comforting.
you because you make them.
Yeah, it does depend on me. And so sometimes there's some novelty because I will skip the smoothie on occasion. And then he's got to fend for himself. And he might eat a bag of chips instead, right?
Yeah, full bag of chips.
Oh, hilarious. Creatures of habit, good, I guess, and bad. And this is where, how do we change the habits, I guess, of the ones that aren't so helpful for anymore? Because yeah, we do want the stability of the good habits. And then how do we identify the ones that are like, maybe this getting up at 6, working all day till 10 at night. I've had a good habit. I have a good work ethic. Maybe it's time to change that. So I guess,
Yeah. And that's why the check-ins are so important, right? Because this helps me realize what am I needing in this moment? Am I needing
mm,
that newness, that freshness? And then that's where I can have a conversation with you of like, hey, let's go somewhere else for the pool or for the gym. Let's eat somewhere else. Let's go walk around the shopping mall, right? We were at Kingsway Mall the other day. It was, like it was actually fun just being a mall rat for a little while there. Cause I haven't been in Kingsway Mall for a long time. And so it's fresh again for me. Yeah. And it brings this sort of aliveness in me of like, cool. Like I love people watching. So it's a great opportunity to be in touch with other people. Sometimes when I'm working on my own all the time, like I forget that there are people around me. And then I'm in awe when I see human beings walking around in the mall, like all shapes and sizes. Like I can be so numb to that, right? Like if I'm around people all the time, I could be so numb to the people around me. But when I've spent time alone, I yearn and desire to be with other people, and I recognize their presence. I had a great conversation with a worker in a store, and that was awesome just to be able to connect that way. And this guy was walking by, and I looked at him. He looked at me. He's like, "Hey, man, you good?" I'm like, "I'm great. How are you doing?" Just like
Yeah. You knew
got
that
the
guy.
energy
You
for
didn't know
that.
that guy.
No, I don't. I don't know. It just the energy, right? My energy of like wanting to connect with people was felt, and the guy just came up and said hi.
That's fun. Rebecca says she'll take the chips, Dre. It was dill pickle, Rebecca. Really? There's some really new.
No, it's mine. Those pickled chips are mine. They're good. Hey, you can get them at Winners. They're amazing. Okay, Superstore also has them.
Really
They're a
good,
particular
actually.
type of dill pickle chips. Do you know the brand?
And no canola oil. No canola oil in them.
Beer
I'm
beer back. I'll grab the brand.
seriously gonna go get those chips. Okay. He's gone. Oh, he's maybe got the bag right there in his garbage can because he ate the whole thing. Brianna. They're humble. That's what it is. And in all of this, that's true. Actually, being humble, being meek, being willing to learn new things is really important in this whole scheme of things. That's one of my
That was a
go-tos when I
little
need to keep my feelings. It was a good
that was a little
display.
advertisement break. We don't get paid for them. There's a little sponsorship. You don't get free chips by showing it on Restream.
It was like Vanna White right there with Andre and the chips. Um, okay, let's see. Get that focus. We're a bit silly today. Brianna, my ex, withheld opportunities for check-ins. Withheld. That's an interesting, might I say, judgment. For check-ins with each other, which felt it would feel stagnant not to talk. As you've mentioned before, Summer, I'm hypervigilant, feel sensitive to the reality that every day is new. I crave and need check-ins so deeply, avoiding and denying that feels deceptive, stagnant, and scary. There's a keyword, scary, right? When we don't know what's going on for someone else. Yeah, we can make up all sorts of stories, all sorts of judgments, ideas that go nowhere well. Yeah. And I would judge that we haven't been brought up being able to share and feel safe sharing. There's a lot of judgment about what we think relationships should be, how they should go, how much someone should share. It's tricky. It's a tricky thing. What does Chris say here? I find, especially with my health habits, I need routine. If I'm in a lot of change of location, I just fall off the health habits of eating and exercise. Interesting. I find I actually, when I go on holiday, one of the first things I want to do is hit the gym. Holidays make me want to exercise more. Okay. I don't know if I'm the opposite, but how is it for you, Dre? Because you've been a workout king for
Hmm.
a long time.
Yeah, the reason why I love to hit the gym on holidays is because I love to check out the new gym. There's a aliveness and a novelty with being in new places for me. I love checking out new gyms and the layout and the types of weights. There's something about it. It gives me motivation and inspiration to work out even more. So at times I do like to switch up gyms, right? Because it helps me switch up the energy. And I love people in the gym because when it's super busy, it can be annoying at times. There's a type of energy that comes with it. And then there's other times where I just want the gym to be empty, right? So I'm not one way or the other. It just depends on what I need at the moment. Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, definitely on holidays when I'm in new places, I'm like, let's check out the gym. I just want to check out the layout.
Yeah. Wanted to make a mention too, Brianna, thanks for your chat. What's coming for me, and this is often what you'll see with relationships, because um, when you say my ex withheld opportunities for check-ins, and I notice, it's scary not to check in. I bet for him it might have been scary to check in. There's always this interesting mirror that happens in relationships that are either both people having the same need or the same feeling, but perhaps on opposite spectrums. It's a really, once you start to see patterns, it becomes really super, super interesting. And as one person, for example, I'm more anxious. So if I'm more anxious about checking in, if I'm able to chill out a little bit and pull back in my pattern just a little bit, it allows the other person, for example, Dre, to come forward more and to speak more into his experience if I'm not like grasping for it or having this idea that he's withholding or doing something to me, for example. Because most people, like, that's not what we think. I was just speaking to someone, they were saying, this person manipulated me into something. And it's like, well, did they manipulate you? That's an interesting judgment. And the other thing about those things is that it really gives our power away if we're thinking that someone's doing something. How did we give away our freedom of choice to choose in that situation of what we deem someone to be manipulating us? Like, what weren't we aware of in the discomfort of our own present moment awareness that we couldn't say no to? And what was the story in our mind? It's so much more powerful for us to recognize that we do have choice and that we can change. And this is another part of novelty within ourselves. Oh, I can be a new person. I can make a new choice here at any given time, especially when we start to notice our patterns. What's the same? What's always happened for me? I definitely have always had a pattern of anxiety, and I wouldn't have admitted it. Like 5, 10 years ago, I was not an anxious person. Now I'm very aware. Oh, Andre, I see you laughing. You can share your. I'm okay if you share whatever you notice about me and anxiety, but I am now aware. If I feel someone I love kind of pull back or withdraw, I'm like, "Ah, I have to say something. I have to do something. I have to point something out so they know what they're doing isn't right or whatever it is." And it's like, "Ah, blah, 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 blah." And my inner world starts to be fast and I can get actually obsessive. And it takes this like the fishing reel to pull myself back in and to be able to sit with and breathe through my own anxiety. And also, what I find I need is to get more involved in those things that are purposeful to me, connect with other people, to have newness and novelty elsewhere so that my mind isn't stagnant and stuck in those thoughts. And then I realize, oh, I'm feeling better. I no longer need, actually, need sounds like a bad thing. I no longer am grasping for something outside of myself to feel calm, to feel okay with what actually is already happening. Comments,
Hmm.
Dre?
Yeah. Yeah. It's speaking to the novelty of like noticing if I'm stuck in a relational pattern that isn't healthy, isn't serving the relationship, that it is my choice to choose things differently. Well, that starts with becoming aware of that pattern. Though becoming aware of that pattern and doing the exact opposite is novelty. It's
It
bringing
is.
freshness and newness to the dynamic. It's switching things up. It's throwing like a monkey wrench in there. And sometimes that is needed because we can just be so enmeshed with each other, especially with codependent relationships, to cycle over and over this particular pattern and not be able to see it clearly because we're so triggered with each other. You know? And when I say triggered, intoxicated. And
Mm,
my rational logical mind is offline, right? And now I'm just reacting. React, regret, react, regret. And shame builds up. Yeah.
right. The two R's, R and R. React, regret.
No one can manipulate me. I always have a choice. Honor myself or people please. If I feel someone is demanding versus asking for needs to be met, I stickly pull away, resist giving because I don't want to be controlled. Yeah, there's something inherently in us as human beings, our free will of choice that we resist. We resist tyranny. We resist control. We resist oppress. And let's say I do give in, right? I do give in, then I build this resentment that is directed towards you because I would subtly hate people that I think are oppressing me.
Yes. Thank you, Chris, for reflecting back to me what I believe my daughter isn't saying to me. It's exactly how she feels, I'm sure. Ah, Brianna. Yeah. Stepping
Hmm.
in. Steeping in, not stepping, steeping. Yeah. Our last Get Resource was about steeping, letting those things just fill up our inner space, not having to react, sitting and being. Goes back to a book called Hare Brain Tortoise Mind. As we're slow, things shift on their own accord. And us controllers with his anxiety, it's like, oh no, I have to fix something and I have to do it right now. And it's not true. Urgency that urgency is really a sign of a saboteur. Unless, of course, you see someone getting hit by a bus and is underneath the car. Of course, there's urgency in doing something like that. But typically speaking, with psychology or emotions, urgency, take a breath, space, see what starts to percolate in that space. It's usually not the stimulus of our trigger that is bringing that up. It's usually something childhood, past life, part of our patterns that are coming up to say, hey, if you pay attention, I'll teach you something new. We have to make that space to see the pattern rather than being in the pattern. Yeah.
Yeah. To rewrite
And-
a new story, a new way of relating. Yeah.
yeah.
Again, bringing freshness and novelty requires me to pause and notice, where am I in a rut? Where am I feeling stale? And then bringing a light to it by having a conversation. Yeah. Yeah.
And the conversation can be with ourselves.
Hmm.
And I like that new direction piece. Like anywhere you're traveling, whether it's in the world, in countries, or in ourselves, you have to pause and decide, okay, where is it that I want to go? What is it that I want to say? Where is what I'm saying coming from? Is it from this authentic higher self? Is it from where is it coming from? Which part of me is this coming from? A protector part, a childlike part, and starting to sit down with all of them, speak to them. Which reminds me, Brianna, I think we're going to see you tomorrow. That'll be fun out at the Secret Sanctuary. The pause. Slowing down. You wouldn't think slowing down means excitement or novelty, but it does. Make new choices. Feel the fear and do it anyway. When we realize, oh, I'm repeating a pattern, but oh my God, it's terrifying to try something new. Maybe there's that subtle shift of maybe that's excitement instead. Even though it's really hard to like sometimes, especially when I was younger, to ask for something that I knew I wanted, like I can't, I don't want to ask. I don't want to say, hmm. And what's that like to just do something different, even though it's tricky? There's that space of time between like, should I do what I've always done or should I do something different? And there's this resistance, the two parts of wanting to move forward and the one that stays the same. And it's like they're just like leaving us in this purgatory space. And I'm not, that's a good question. What tips that over, Dre, for you? When you're like, haven't been at the gym for a long time and you're like, now I want to go to the gym, but I'm not sure I want to go to the gym. I'm feeling comfortable about being stagnant. What tips that
Hmm.
for you?
I mean, usually it's frustration. Like usually it comes from um shame based, unfortunately. Yeah. It comes from beating myself up to then shift to something new. Like give an example of missing the gym. Of like, dang, I haven't gone for a while. Man. And it becomes this itch that I'm like, oh, just go do it. And I'm trying to look at if there's a better way or a more healthier way. I think that involves more of a conscious conversation about that and having check-ins like that of like, where does it feel like I'm stuck? So I can name it and have it be witnessed by other people and then set a plan where I'm like, hey, let's go. Though by default, it's more of like, I know I haven't done it, I haven't followed through, and there's that inner critic, that voice, that judge that beats me up to do it. Because I don't have an issue about being self motivated. Is because I've been bred and conditioned to receive love based on performance. So I'm competitive. I yearn to do things because based on my accomplishments and my successes, it deems me worthy. It's just that I can get lost in the busy work and distractions because I'm running that program of I'm doing this to feel accomplished and it's still running me. Just that I need to do create space, right? To slow down. And slowing down is a novelty. Speaking to that in a culture that's so fast paced and prides itself on being busy and go getting, that slowing down and taking a pause is freshness. Might not be to the monk in Tibet meditating 18 hours a day, though I judge for us that's in the Western world, slowing down is different and needed.
Yeah. Interesting. Shame based motivation. Those internal judges, get off your ass and get to the gym. You're so lazy, blah, blah, blah. All the internal dialogue that goes on. I think it's more recent for me, but I literally get this. My body goes, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Are we really going to go to the gym? I can't wait to go to the gym. This is going to feel great. There's this surge of like little kid energy, and my body just speaks. It's not even me. And I actually had, I don't believe I've ever felt that, because it's more been like, you should go to the gym because, that's what we should be doing. Um, and as I've let go and more just trusted my internal guidance mechanism, no matter what the outside world says, my body gives me the cues um, of what's really needed. And my human design says I should exercise every day. I've exercised on and off, very undisciplined, I would have to say, for most of my life. And now that which is novel for me, and I think it has to do with being in the community of women that really observes their own judges and how unhelpful that is, because I can see so many, and then I can really have compassion for myself that there's this ability to really just listen without the should. And Marshall Rosenberg does say, and I can see why it's true. He says that the word should is the most violent word in the English language. It, it's so dampening, it's so discouraging. When on the other side of this is this like, oh boy, life's here to be lived. Let's go. Um, and I think that's our culture. And I think we're moving out of it. But again, I think finding newness in ourselves, at least for me in the last 3 years, has come out of the relational wisdom school and relating to people in a new way that lets me see myself. Like, see myself.
Yeah. What's coming for me is growth. I
Mm.
have a big need for growth. And back in my 9 to 5 days, I would seek growth, and that led me to climb the corporate ladder to get promoted and learn new things and travel on behalf of the company. And I think I believe it's every human need. It's a need to grow and expand. And so am I seeking that? To live on my edge, to do things differently, to go and sign up for that presentation and public speak, to do that video, put myself out there, yearning to expand. Because I know when I'm fulfilled in that area, oh, I have so much gratitude for my life. Because now I'm in a position where I'm just growing, man, like every day. And there's newness with that. There's fulfillment with that. There's fulfillment with purpose, with impact, with learning. Yeah, there's so much richness. And the reason why I share that is I've been in the place where I didn't have that growth. And it was the same thing every day. I remember someone telling me, same shit, different pile at work. And at that moment in my life, I was working for the weekend. I was seeking thrills in alcohol and drugs, video games, buying a new video game and playing it, going on vacation. So if I'm not being fulfilled with where I'm at, I'm seeking it elsewhere. So how can I create that fulfillment where I'm at? What can I do differently to have that growth? And someone told me that being in a relationship is the greatest initiation of our time. And so, do I have the tools to go with my beloved, to work through those ruptures and the conflicts, to embrace them as opportunities to deepen our connection? And it's hard. It's hard because every cell in my body doesn't feel safe, right? And tit for tat again. But that's where the novelty comes in, is when we can interrupt those patterns, when we can slow down, become aware of the patterns, and then choose differently in the moment.
Yeah. What's coming up for me is like not being able to see. So the change in perspective is what's novel, and everything's patterns, habits, as Rebecca said. And unless we can slow down enough to see the pattern, it repeats. Broken record over and over and over again. And so we seek new outside stimulation to ease that, but it doesn't interrupt the pattern. And so I'm become an observer of patterns over the last 10 or 15 years or so, and more now that we're really involved in relationship, couples work, communication, and the whole, lots of people. Patterns are interesting because they're not only local or individual, they're also collective. We belong to a collective consciousness. And so the more people that you can be authentic with, the more people, the community that you involve yourself in, to share, to observe, to speak what's alive in you in the moment, more you see the patterns. But more than seeing them or thinking about them in your mind, is that you can intuit them, you can feel them, you can embody them. And in that embodiment, we evolve with less and less chaos and crisis in our lives, because it's a symbiotic, co-regulatory space that I think, as living as we do, removes us from that novelty of this ease of evolution that we're able to do, especially now. Um, with the level of emotional and intelligence that I believe we're coming into, it's going to be a very exciting place, a shift from even empathy to telepathy, where we're energetically speaking without needing the verbal, because verbal language is still very masculine, and it actually removes some of the energetic information that we're imparting, and can actually cover a lot of it up. Sometimes we speak to cover it up, actually. And it can feel like manipulation from people, even though we're not aware of it sometimes. And I don't know where I just segued to and went off on that tangent, Dre, but I'll pretty you tied all that together.
Yeah, no, that was beautiful. Um, yeah, it's just bringing back the awareness to myself. Yeah, and novelty, right? We're talking about freshness and newness in a relationship when things get stale. I think if we were to impart a takeaway, is to create a check-in, to slow down and notice where are things needing to be more spontaneous. This to switch things up, because there's value with things that are routine and having structure. With Chris mentioning he finds himself in a new place, his routines fall off, exercise falls off. So structure is needed, though. How can we continue to build upon that and not just keep it the same? And that requires conscious attention. It's when I become unaware and I be busy and then I'm reacting, right? That urgency is really another word for reactiveness, reactivity. That's where I can get myself in trouble. And even in conscious relating and patterns that we find ourselves enmeshed in, that can so easily be a rut and be a pattern that's baked in that may no longer serve the relationship for where you both desire it to elevate and grow from. So check-ins, check-ins, being both on the same page so that we share a reality together versus the realities differing because we're both growing and changing along the way. Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to tie it to here, bring it to completion for today. And noting Brianna won't be there this weekend at the Secret Sanctuary. So thank you for thinking of us and missing us both. We'll cross paths again. And amazing, you got some big things in the works. Cool. All right. Anything you want to leave with, Summer, before we close out?
Well, notice Chris has done a couple of things here. New revelations, 5-day beingness, how evolved beings communicate without words. Yes. There's so much more than words. So texting, it's only words. Getting back to that interpersonal stuff. I think you're having a sweat this weekend, right, Chris? Up there in your locale. Looking forward to your wedding, by the way, Chris. Chris is getting married. Anyone else on here? Give him a little shout out to congratulations for that. It's a family shindig, and we will be there, so that'll be exciting. Newness, new path with your beloved.
Yeah, same with these microphone issues. It's new. Yay. All right. Until next time. See you next Friday, 12 p.m. Bye for now.
Thanks for chiming in, everybody. Love it when you do.